Bobby Broom for a little while.
Yes, from Chicago.
Yeah.
Russell couldn't make the gig, and Bobby, who was normally working with his organ group in Chicago.
Right.
I was happy to see that he adjusted to not needing to play so loud with the organ. Just piano, bass, it's piano, bass, and guitar. You don't need that kind of volume.
Right.
And after the first concert, he realized that all he had to do was just kind of relax more and let the music help him sound better. And after the first concert, boy, we were on fire every night.
Oh, great. Okay. So, of course, more recently, Pat Metheny.
Yes, we're looking to get together sometime when this intermission gets over. You know, he's really not just a good player. He's really a musical technician. He understands the things behind the sound. And then that, because I don't know that kind of technical stuff, I just watch it and I'm just kind of stunned at all this knowledge up here that he has, and he still plays fabulous guitar. You know, he's my neighbor, and at some point we'll get together when we can kind of get out of these masks and get together in the neighborhood, and I expect to have him come over and just talk some more about music. But boy, he's really a bright guy.
Yeah.
Who plays some wonderful notes and has good concept about how music's supposed to work. I love that kind of stuff.
I just saw a little bit of like a jazz festival Detroit clip. How many gigs have you played with him?
Well, we did a tour, and we did the Detroit Jazz Festival to end that particular tour. Yeah, we did a tour, a small tour of the states, maybe for eight or nine concerts at that time, and then we ended up by doing the Detroit Jazz Festival as one of those tour things. I think
that's like 2019.
Yeah, no, maybe 2018.
18.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so Bill Frisell.
Yes, I talked to Bill yesterday. The clubs are trying to open up in New York, and they had a couple of weeks available, and they asked me, could I get Bill Frisell to come in? Well, Bill's going to be out of town, so he's getting busy again. But Bill's another guy, man, who really understands how music is supposed to work. And he plays songs, Akio, that would never cross my mind. I just don't know that kind of library, you know?
Right.
He plays them with enough conviction to convince me that this song has to be in my library.
Right.
So I'm learning. I'm going to school with him too. I'm not quite the student. I'm just kind of a student with him.
Wow.
And boy, he brings so much stuff to the table. I'm happy to sit down and have part of what he does.
Because either recording dates or live dates with him and Paul Morton.
Yes, also Joey Barron and Arthur Blythe.
Right.
Yeah, down home. We had 3 or 4 nice records, man. With Arthur and the Joey Barron and a couple of with Paul Motion. We had a great time. It was a nice trio, a quartet with Bill.
And then a while ago, Steve Card.
Yeah, that was early in my New York days. He was making a lot of records with the jazz fusion kind of concept with the Michael Brecker and Randy Brecker. And one of his interesting things was he played with these 2 amplifiers, one on the left, one on the right. You know, small 10, 12-inch speakers on either side of him.
Yes, stereo,
you know? And he was kind of in the middle of that stuff, you know. And I didn't understand why he needed that. So one day I just stood next to him, and I could hear completely different. And I said, "Wow, he's hearing some different stuff over here." You know, I don't belong over here, but I understand what's going on now.
Okay.
Yeah. He another guy, a really sharp mind. He really knew the guitar. You know, he'd play like this all night. None of this stuff, man. None of that movie stuff. You know. Yeah, and wrote some very difficult songs. So I learned how to make those songs work, and I had a great time working with him. I'm sorry I don't see him more often.
Was Al Foster played?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin Eubanks. That's a long time ago too, right?
Yeah, he took a gig when Russell was tied up with other things. I enjoyed playing with Kevin. It was nice to see him be able to return to the sideman role after being a band leader on that big time TV show.
Right, right.
We didn't need a conversation about who was in charge. You know, he's a mature person, and as such, he didn't complain about I wouldn't play this tune this tempo, or I don't like this tune. He was really a professional sideman, and it was great to see this person with all this huge acclaim on TV. be willing to sit down and let someone else drive the car.
Right.
You know, he had a great sound, you know, and new play changes, you know, and stuff you don't hear on the TV show because you got 85 seconds to play in and play out. But he played the whole night, man, and had a lot of stuff left over. So I enjoyed playing with him.
Right. Did you ever play with Gregory?
No, I was busy at the time with a Miles tour, and Grant had some health issues along the way, so we never got together. But he sure had a good sound.
Okay. So, any other players, guitar players, you can think of like, oh, there was this guy that
Jay Berliner was a great studio guitar player. Jay Berliner.
Jay Berliner. How do you spell that?
Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
Berliner.
Jay Berliner. Okay.
When I would do some of those Spanish Blue for CTI, those records, I needed a guitar player, and I always called Jay because he read really well. He understood the concepts. I made a record called Empire Jazz.
Oh.
And he's on that record, guitar. He's a wonderful, perfect musician.
Because some of the players that a lot of, say, especially jazz fans in Japan don't necessarily know some amazing players, but mostly in the studios. You know, like Gene Bertoncini.
Yeah. I had fun with Gene. Again, another guitar player who knew the instrument really well and was not afraid to take chances harmonically. It's just my job. I just did a date that came out last month with a Tootie Heath playing drums, Albert Heath.
Yeah, Albert Heath.
And Greg Scaff. A nice record that Greg put together. He's kind of got buried in the Broadway show bands and stuff, you know, Broadway theater. But he really plays great guitar, and he had a chance to put together this trio record under his label. And Tootie and I had a great time playing with him. It's another name that your fans will have to know. Greg Scaff, Skaff. Scaff, yeah.
Okay. All right. And
what was the name? Ray Crawford.
Oh, Ray. Yeah.
He's the first guitar player with Ahmad Jamal.
Right.
And he's on that great record, the Gil Evans record, Into the Hot and Out of the Cool. We worked together in New York. Back in the day when they hired a group for a club in New York, a jazz band, they would work 8 or 9 weeks in a row, man. You know, it was great. And Gil had an 8-piece band working at the club called the Jazz Gallery. And then Ray Crawford was in that band with Johnny Coles on trumpet and Charlie Persip on drums, and Gil played a little piano, and Keg Johnson playing trombone. It was a great 8-piece band. We worked there for 6 or 7 weeks and went to the studio and created those records with Creed Taylor for Into the Hot and Out of the Cool with Ray Crawford, who's a guitar player.
Wow. Eric Gale?
Yes, I made a record we called In the Tradition. Now your fans, Akio, they got to buy that record.
Right.
It's called In the Tradition with Eric Gale.
In the Tradition. Okay.
Grady Tate. Houston Person.
Oh, Houston Person, yeah.
And Dr. Lonnie Smith.
Lonnie Smith. All right.
It harkens back to the day when all the groups in Harlem had an organ group. And Dr. Lonnie Smith, of course, is in the class by himself.
Right.
And that the songs on this record are just out of sight, man. They got to buy this record, man.
Great.
This is the cover.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. In the jazz tradition. Great. Is it EmArcy?
Yeah, EmArcy.
Yeah.
You got to have this record in your collection, man. Every guitar player needs this record.
Okay. I'll tell everybody.
Yeah, you tell them, man. The groove on this record it's just incredible, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Groove, I mean, that's... Okay, so I want to talk about, well, any other guitar players you can, like, yeah, there was this guy in Detroit or Did you play with Jimmy Rainey?
No, I played with Dave Stryker.
Oh, Dave Stryker, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the newer names on the scene. He's been around for a while, but now that he's getting his own records, he's a good player. We had a good time.
Played with saxophone player for a while. What's his name? I'll come up with.
Yeah, he's out of the Pete Bernstein kind of that school of thought, you know. But he plays on his own style.
Oh,
And
how was playing with Peter Bernstein?
He was good, and again, he's out of the Jim Hall influence, and those guys. I'm always like seeing those kind of guys because I'm kind of part of their history.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
I'm not.
gonna say you were talking about all the clubs, and if I had a time machine, I want to go to 1950s, 60s, mid 60s in New York, man.
Yeah, there were tons of clubs, man, and they all had music.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and they're from that kind of scene, that kind of era, you know, where there's always an organ, guitar, and drums.
How
you know,
many?
maybe
How many sets did you usually play?
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, and depending on there's a club called Count Basie's Uptown. Depending on what time the crowd, we would do 4 sets on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
40 on, 20 off, and the guy made sure that you maintain that schedule, because people, the longer the band played, the more drinks he sold. And they up to 2 o'clock in the morning, man, with a full house playing bird tunes and playing bebop and playing rhythm and blues, playing grooves. Yeah, that was the thing, man. That was what we did, you know.
Yeah, man. Wow. I mean, I wish a renaissance happened that people, you know, because this situation that people hate to, I mean, afraid to go out, and then now, you know.
Yeah, man, it's the drag. You know?
Yeah, it's a drag, because it will happen, because when people are suppressed like this, like have a bounce back and you know, let's go hear live music.
Yeah, they gotta get it out, man. And I think that once it opens up, the club's gonna be swamped with people who want to get out of their house.
Right, and then you've been to Japan like 3 times a year almost.
Yeah, it was at one time. Yeah, I miss my friends. I don't see them anymore because I'm not there. You know.
Right, but
Michio-san, all my good friends who play bass, they're good players, and I like to talk with them, talk about the instrument, you know, share ideas, you know, and I miss that communication with my friends.
Yeah, so but you got to make this up. Next time, I love to play with you again.
Well, I'm still learning, looking for the right notes. Maybe I'll find them with you.
Maybe I played the wrong notes. So
my job is to fix it. Don't worry about that.
But first time I recorded it, we were listening to playback, and a little, I think, faster tune. You said, "So do you hear hi-hat?" So I was happy because, I mean, you heard it. So, you know, we were kind of locked in. And our first gig, Randy Blaker came to hear, and then he said, "Yeah, you guys are really, time is tight." That was the best compliments I got.
Yes. That's our job, man. Time is what it is, man. You know.
Okay, so let's at the end, because you let's talk about professionalism for a couple minutes, because you mentioned a lot, and you know, by showing up on time, or to be successful in New York as a studio player as well, it has to be so dependable.
Yeah. Well, you know, New York. Excuse me. Akio-san, in New York, everybody comes to all the good guys come to New York. All the good guys and gals. Sorry, ladies. All the good players come to New York because this is where they test what they can do.
Right.
They know the best guys here are for the testing ground.
Oh.
And I tell my students there are always 4 or 5 people outside your door on your gig waiting to take over, waiting to be invited inside. And the only way you can kind of not worry about that is if you make a presentation of yourself. You got to be on time for the gig. That means for me, if the gig is at 8 o'clock, you walk in the door at 7. You know, if there's a music involved, your book is in order. You know, if the band leader is you know, I think the new guys, they kind of miss discipline. They just kind of show up, you know, and I don't feel like they thought about the set before they walked in the door, you know.
So what we're gonna play? What we're gonna play?
Yeah, don't worry about that. I got the set for you right here. You know.
Right.
you guys get a dark suit, get a nice shirt, nice tie.
Yeah.
I think the day of walking in like you left the gymnasium, I think that's pretty old hat. That's really old fashioned. Get a good suit, get a nice shirt, get a nice tie, so you can look like you're going to work. Because you are going to work. Yeah. They call it a gig. I call it going to work.
Yeah.
That vibe, that mindset, puts you in the right frame of mind that this is a very serious event. And you got to treat it as such, starting with getting there an hour earlier to make sure the amp still works, making sure it's still there, making sure the bandstand is in good shape, stuff. That's all a part of the gig. It's like going to your house, man, you know?
Right.
That's what I think. This bandstand, that's my house, man. It got to be okay.
Because I think that David Matthews, he came to my place because he lives in Japan, Hokkaido, and he mentioned a certain trumpet player that the trumpet player was saying David Matthews told him like, hey, you're 5 minutes late like 3 times in this month, and then if you show up 40 minutes prior, your job will double.
Yeah, well, he nailed it for him, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, give David my love. I haven't seen him in a very long time.
I sure will.
We did some things in New York together when he was living in New York, and we had some good moments. So please give him my regards and my respect. Thank you.
Absolutely will.
Yeah.
So okay, and look forward to for you to come to Japan again soon.
Yes. Well, they're planning on the tour in November, December, but again, with the Olympics, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. They're having difficulty figuring out how to do the Olympics in Japan. So I told them it's on my book, it's on my calendar. I wrote it in pencil.
Is that
And the trios, quartet's ready to go. Just let us know what we need, when it's still on,
Is that Blue Note?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me know if you have 1 day extra. We'll try to hook up something here.
I'll make a space.
It was so glad to see you.
Yes, what a pleasure to see you after all this time, and a whole day away from my from where I'm sitting down right now, my little space here.
Is that still because your place, but you kind of renovated it to like a studio? Or?
Yeah. I give lessons here when I give lessons and practice here and stuff, write songs. But it's a small space, but it's good enough for me to do what I do without interfering with the neighbors and stuff,
Great. Okay, man.
Well, I'll see you soon, I hope.
Well, let's chat again sometime.
Well, we got this covered now. We're practiced now. Next time, be the real thing.
Yeah. And then I'll promote the book, and then so I'll go to your website and.
Yes. Called Chartography.
Okay. Yeah. Cartography, RonCarter. This beautiful cover. All right.
You take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, the book is must for everyone. It's not.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.